What's up, guys? I am back from Evo. What an awesome weekend. I had such a good time, and luckily I managed to get footage of almost all of my matches. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing kind of an Evo recap. We're going to run through kind of everything that happened with the 3 games that I was playing, and then at the end we're going to run through our sort of wagers that we made before I left, the different sort of predictions that we had going for Evo, and we can find out what came true. So right off the bat, let's jump into some matches here. And if you just want to see the raw, unedited footage of all my matches, if you don't want me to just show the interesting parts and you don't want my commentary, the link is down in the description for a video that is just like an hour of all the match footage unedited with no commentary. So take a look at that if that's what you're after. Alright, first up, I've got my Unist matches here. So I missed my first 2 matches in Unist. Those did not get recorded because my friends who I had recording for me had their own matches to play in other games. But this is my 3rd match here. I was currently 1-1. First match was a really tough loss against Pat the Flip, who you may know he writes for a few online publications. And he was a fellow Chaos player, and he played amazingly well. He actually made it out of our pool, so great job to him. Second match was against a guy called Rightful King, and I beat him pretty handily. And I also had someone who got DQ'd against me. So technically I'm 2-1, but I'm just going to call it 1-1 because, you know, I only actually beat one person. But now we're fighting a guy called Cheesy. You can see I'm up a pretty big lead here with Chaos. Landed a bunch of, you know, pretty normal combos for him. But all of a sudden things really are starting to fall apart here. Being in the corner against Nanase, not good. And I think what I most realized from this tournament is that my neutral and my offense is like okay in this game, but my defense is really not where it needs to be. So if I'm going to continue to play Unist, which I am planning on doing for sure, like especially with the new version announced coming next year, I definitely want to keep playing, and so I think defense is the #1 thing that I need to work on. That's definitely what got me killed in this tournament. But overall, I was happy with my performance. Beating one person, I think, is pretty solid, considering I've been playing the game for like 6 months or whatever, so not too bad. Next up, this is my very first SamSho match here. This is against a guy named ZGMF Testament. So this guy is playing Yashimaru. Forgot his name for a second. I don't see this character that often, and I actually think that this is like a really awesome match for Jubei. Like, to me, for Yashimaru to win against Jubei, he really has to outplay him, and I don't really think that this guy, you know, quite had enough of an advantage on me to make up for the matchup. So this one, pretty straightforward. You can see I even got a perfect there. Knocked it out of the park with Jubei. Not too big of a problem. And then here's the final round. We'll just jump ahead here. You can just see the zoning from Jubei is really hard for Yashimaru to deal with, in my opinion. And just the superior neutral, I think, is too good. Went ahead and burst there, so I didn't have to, you know, risk giving up this round into a weapon flip. And it's going to be pretty damn hard to win with this level of life deficit and no weapons. So there we go. Knocked him right out. Next up, my second SamSho match here. This is against a player named Zangai. So you can see a fellow Jubei player, and this is kind of a scary matchup to me. I don't know, like, fighting Jubei versus Jubei, it can really go either way. Obviously, it's a perfectly even matchup, but it's a little bit tricky. You know, Jubei is actually pretty strong against Jubei's own tools, if that makes sense. Like, Jubei's so reliant on his very powerful mid, long-reaching slashes. It turns out that those are pretty easy to counter if the other player has a good read for when you like to stick out your pokes. But anyway, that didn't end up coming up in this match. This was another pretty one-sided one. Unfortunately, I missed my DP punish right there. That feels bad. But other than that, I don't think there's going to be too much of a problem here. Big parry! He should have killed me, but instead he dropped his DP combo. And now it's a good thing that I practiced fighting weaponless before I left, because, you know, I decided it wasn't worth the risk of picking up the weapon and potentially getting punished. I'm just going to end it with no weapon, and that's what happened. On to match 3 here. So I'm currently 2-0, no losses yet. We are fighting someone named Madao. So Madao playing Genjiro, definitely one of the strongest and most popular characters in this game. And this was a match that I really thought I had this one in the bag. So you can see I got the weapon flip, and then I landed a combo, but he burst it and did Isen. But for some reason, well, not for some reason, but luckily, I was able to somehow pull a win out of this. You can see with him not having burst anymore, we can just do DP combos to our heart's content. Plus, I still have burst in case he lands a throw on us. So there we go. Game 1, not a problem. Took game 1 without too much trouble. And, you know, I thought that that would be the trend, but he really started kind of exploiting my flaws here. He started going for a lot more of Genjiro's cross-up with his Rekka. I'm definitely pretty bad at dealing with that. If I could have gotten an empty jump heavy into a big combo there, that would have been very choice, but I didn't manage to pull it off. And here you'll start to see he started applying Genjiro's card sort of bounce tactics really effectively here, and I really did not have an answer. I had no idea how to beat this. So basically applying the common strategies from Genjiro, you can see Stand Fierce, recoil cancel into DP, another Genjiro classic, comboing into his Rekka, more Genjiro classics. I was really falling apart here and not having an answer for what exactly to do about this. But there, I land the big DP combo, huge damage. It's conceivable for me to win this round, but then no. Threw a fireball, he jumped over it, and he got me. Moving on to game 3 here, we're currently 1-1 against Madao, if I'm pronouncing that right. There's that big Genjiro cross-up. God, you hate to see it. So hard to block. I saw some people neutral jumping it. I think that's a pretty good answer because he can't actually do the follow-up hits if the first one whiffs. So neutral jumping, it seems good. I just was not ready. I was not there where I needed to be. And here I'm just getting mixed up so bad. He even bursts straight into the weapon flip. And you can see with this life deficit here and me not having a weapon, this doesn't really seem too possible. But we got the weapon back, and then a wake-up command throw. So potent. Genjiro's command throw is just insane, man. And there you go. So that was our first loss, sent to the losers. And then coming to our other sort of loser side match here. So this was to get out of first round pools. So I really, really wanted to win this. And it was on stream. So I really wanted to do well and put on a good show for you guys. This is against a Japanese player called Kyote, or Kyote, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But he is a very skilled Hamaru player. Very impressive stuff. But right off the bat here, you know, I had a few simple strategies. Definitely try to keep him at arm's length with stand medium, jump medium, running heavy, abusing those a lot, as well as the fireballs. You can see there, jump medium. Oh yeah, and of course his universal overhead, his B plus C. These are all really strong tactics, and I think that if you're able to keep Hamaru kind of ranged out, this is a really good matchup for Jubei. Like, I think it might actually be to his advantage, despite Hamaru being a really powerful and dominant character. But let's see how this goes. Slight life disadvantage here, but I'm thinking maybe if I can just keep poking him, keep the zoning alive, don't let him get in, I can stand a chance here. You can see each one of these mediums not doing a ton of damage, but they all add up, and if the opponent can't get close to you, they're not going to be able to do that much damage to you either. And there, he landed the throw combo, but he dropped the follow-up. Now I'm on just a pixel. Back throw into super special, or into weapon flip, that is. He's got no weapon. How can I lose? a dash up A. That's how I lose, I guess. We saw a lot of this move throughout Samurai Shodown Top 8, but man, it was brutal to lose to that. Second round, I did win, but then third round here, the first game, looking kind of dire. You can see the big life lead that my opponent has. Running heavy, though, pretty good damage. A really nice normal in this matchup. You're going to see me use that a lot. At this point in the match, it really didn't seem like he had an answer for it. So you can see that's why I'm pulling it out. And then I whip out the big counter. Oh my god, I was so unbelievably hyped when I landed that, dude. When I landed that counter, I basically felt like the smartest man in the world. You can't see it. I'm holding it together here in the video as best as I can. But oh my god, that felt good. So I was 1-0. At this point, I was 1-0, and then game 2, I'm skipping the first 2 rounds, fairly uneventful. Coming to the final round here, and at this point, I had decided I was going to switch up my strategy. No more poking with mediums and running heavy too much. I was going to stand back and abuse fireballs and make him try to get in on me. So you can see I am not approaching. I am deciding, you know what, I'm just going to force you to come at me. And this was working so well. Like you can see here, I definitely sense a slight bit of frustration with how I'm not letting him jump. The jump medium is too strong. See, there you go. I'm not letting him crouch. Universal overhead reaches so far. The fireballs, like, look at this life lead. I was already, like, excited. I was already like, I'm moving on, guys. This is it. I've won. I'm moving out of my pool. I was ready. But as you're going to see here, that stand heavy. Good lord. And then that dashing heavy there. I was not ready for that level of offense. And then run up throw into DP combo. All of a sudden, I'm losing. Just 3 hits, and then I'm back to losing. And he read the jump very well there with that neutral jump heavy. And I'm just panicking. I'm just jumping in the corner. I don't want to die, but he hit me with the running light. Oh my god, we have to go to game 3? Oh my god, I was panicking at this point, guys. I could have had that at any point. You know, just any good hit there, I would have taken the round. So that was just not a good way to lose. And then here was another round that I pretty much thought I had secured with the keep away gameplay. But then he pulled out a punish I had never seen before, running heavy, punished with Haomaru's weapon flipping technique. How sick was that? And at this point, I'm kind of feeling like I'm running out of options here. Seems like he's got the download on my game plan a little bit. He's punishing a lot of my common tactics. He's changing up the sort of feel of his jumps. You can see he's doing a lot more early jump normals. So at this point, I'm kind of panicking. Had to use my burst so I didn't die. Go into weapon flipping technique, and he is going to burst it, and since it's in the corner, I can't get a cross up. Feels bad, man. And the running heavy there does a ton of damage, and I'm starting to think, is it even possible for me to win this round at this point? Went for the dash up throw to try to go into command throw. Slight scramble happened there. I thought he messed up, so I mashed out E-Send, and then I died. I can't believe it, man. That was my match to win. One of the all-time most sort of disappointing losses I've ever had in my career. I had that one, man. It felt so bad to lose that. I was distraught, but I had to get it back together because FighterZ was coming up. Once again, I did not get footage of my first 2 FighterZ matches. I won the first one. That was against a player called Ciado. It was pretty close. I actually needed to pull out a 1v3 Yamcha comeback, but I did it and won. Unfortunately, we didn't get that on video, sadly. Second match was against a player called Baxter, who traveled all the way from Australia, which is quite a trip. Also in my pool, I had Breaker Dave. You may recall I had Breaker Dave in my pool last year. Didn't end up having to play him last year. And spoilers, I didn't end up having to play him this year either. Weird sort of coincidence that we had the same pool twice in a row. But I lost to Baxter. It was fairly one-sided, I would say. He pretty much destroyed me. I've said this before, that usually if people make that kind of trip to EVO, you know they're at least pretty good. Like, no scrubs are doing, like, a 14-hour flight to a tournament. Well, at least not that many. I'm sure there are some, but yeah, for the most part, only pretty good players are going to make a trip like that. But anyway, here we are at 1-1 at this point. We're fighting a player called Czerg, or Zerg. I don't know how it's pronounced. But this one was not too big of an issue. I would say this was a pretty one-sided match. Just didn't quite seem like he was ready for the Videl and Krillin mix-ups. Even going ham there with the down heavy. Not too shabby. Last character, Super Saiyan Goku. I don't think this is going to be too much of an issue with 3 characters left, even if he does have 4 meters. Just going ham right at the beginning here, getting a big hit. And then we got the big Yamcha hit. And I'm thinking to myself, is there a way that I can kill right here? Could I get a TOD? But I didn't quite feel confident enough using the spark for that. So I just keep it safe, go for some Oki with the Great Saiyaman, and then one final hit there. Should close things out using sparking there because my assists were not quite up. And I think this should be the kill right here. Yep, so that was our 3rd match in Dragon Ball FighterZ. That was a win. Currently we are 2-1, fighting a player called Regulator Watts. So this was interesting. A fellow Krillin player. Not just playing Krillin, but also playing Krillin plus Yamcha. How sick is that, right? Unfortunately, instead of Videl, he's actually running GT Goku. This is a team a lot of people suggested to me. I do kind of think it's a good team, but I don't think it's like that broken, to be honest. Obviously, GT Goku is a really good character, probably a lot better than Videl. But I just don't think the assist is like that huge of a buff to Krillin. For some characters like Bardock, I think the assist is pretty crazy, but for Krillin, it's not too bad. So we pulled that one out without too much trouble. He wasn't quite ready for the Krillin versus Krillin gameplay. Next up, we're fighting a player called Robinson. That's R-A-W Binson. And this one was a really exciting match for me because I saw this guy is running Team Goichi. He's got Bardock, Super Saiyan, and GT on the same team. And I've got lowly Krillin, Videl, Yamcha. You know, this is pretty much like the best team in the game versus, you know, the worst character in the game. With some really good assists to make him better, but still Krillin is not really that high tier in this game. But you can see we got a lucky read there. Well, luck or was it skill? Maybe we'll call it skill. Mashing out jab during that throw mix-up. This guy thought he was cute by doing delayed wake-up against Solar Flare Yamcha. But spoilers, that very rarely works. Yamcha's too active. We got the hit, and here we're killing Bardock. And at this point, I was starting to think like, oh my god, am I actually going to beat this top-tier busted team? Am I really going to beat this? And this guy, keep in mind, this guy had also beaten 3 people at this point. So, you know, he can't be too shabby. So I was just trying to not get overconfident here. Calling the Rock to combo off the Rekkas because Yamcha was not available. Comboing off it with that little dash setup there. I'd actually practiced that setup a little bit just to get consistent with it. The weird way that Videl lands after that combo kind of makes going for Oki or going for Super afterwards a little bit tricky. So I practiced that, which I was very thankful for, because it did come up quite a bit in this match. Here we're going into GT Goku level 3, the Dragon Fist. And I'm really thinking, like, I do not want my momentum to end here. So I go ahead and Spark to destroy his chance of getting Oki. Thankfully, it looks like we're not going to die here, even though this was very scary. It would have felt bad to kind of waste Spark like that. But keeping Videl alive is pretty good here. Let's see, what's the mix-up? Holding up back because I was a little scared of throw. Looks like he slightly missed his meaty timing there, which is great news for me. Look at this defense real quick. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, finally we threw him. Lucky to not get hit by the down heavy there. Had to go for the throw. And then we get level 1 into level 3. My favorite Z change in the game right here, FYI. And then the empty jump low with Krillin. Pretty hard to see, pretty hard to react to. And I think that's going to be enough damage to take out Super Saiyan Goku, leaving only GT Goku left on this guy. Let's see. Oh, it wasn't quite enough damage. Actually, I missed the combo there. I forgot that I missed that. And now, of course, at this point, I was thinking, if I lose this match because I missed the super input, I did it like too early in the air. If I lose this game because I missed the super, I'm literally going to like flip this table right now. But thankfully, spoilers, it's not quite going to get to that point. Let's see here. We're blocking GT Goku. Very scary. He hit 6M, but he didn't have anything to follow up with it. Just throw out a beam. Why not? We got the hit. I love Krillin's damage on this combo. Feels so good to land this. Such a satisfying combo. Straight into Videl level 3. Videl level 3 was a huge moneymaker for me in this tournament. Like, her Oki is not unbelievable after this, but it's good enough. People were not dealing with it very well, so we managed to get him to block in the corner, and we're getting some free damage on Goku here. Call Yamcha straight into throw this time. He was plenty happy to block everything last time, so I decided to do throw much earlier in this sort of series of mix-ups. So there's that, and then just Goku left with just a little bit of health. Don't think this is going to be too big of a problem. Once again, feeling the throw, and this time I was correct. So we jumped out of the throw, got the punish, and I think that is going to do it for this first match. Oh, actually, here we go. This is just the Game 3 between me and Robinson. Nothing too much to say here, but Yamcha and Videl definitely carried me. He took out Krillin, but it wasn't too much of a problem to bring it back with the other two. So, nice job. So at this point, I'm 4-1 going into match 5, and much to my chagrin, who's my opponent? It's the same guy I already lost to. It's Baxter. So Baxter was in the winner's bracket, but then he lost to a player called Kana, a very, very good player from Japan. God, what a stacked pool this was, huh? I don't know. Maybe everyone's pool was this hard, but this felt hard to me. Between Breaker Dave, this guy Baxter, and then Kana, like, that's a tough draw. But so having to fight the same player twice, you may recall this is what happened to me last year too. Not only that, this happened to me against another Australian player named Dilo. Dilo and Baxter even know each other, both being Australian Dragon Ball FighterZ players. I was really sort of peeved about this, but sometimes it's just the way things go. And here you can see, you know, we're getting some hits with Videl. We go into level 3. Let's see what's the mix here. Oh, what can I do to bring this back? Baxter's play was just so clean. I found these matches really hard. Nice spark to get out of the mix. I respect it. And then giving himself some space to have ample room to react with the down heavy. Pretty nice. Into Android 21, level 3. This guy's Android 21 was such a problem for me to deal with. Very clean play here. Going with the backdash, I guess trying to bait Reflect or something. Either way, I got hit. Lots of damage incoming. Using Bardock assist to combo off this, and then it looks like that's going to be a dead Videl. And then only Yamcha left, and I'm like, please, please Yamcha, do this for me. And this one comeback, baby. If you do this for me, Yamcha, I'll never drop you, even if they nerf your assist. But you can see, again, dashing back to give himself space for the down heavy. Definitely reading my super dashes better than anyone else I had played in this tournament. Kind of understanding what ranges I'm most tempted to use them and going out of his way to bait it. You can see I'm not even going to be able to use Spark this round, and we're going to lose. So 1-2 in Unist, that makes me, out of 1,157 players, I got 385th. SamSho, I went 2-2. Out of 1,729 players, I got 513th. And then in Dragon Ball FighterZ, actually my best performance, I went 4-2. Out of 1,200 entrants, I got 257th. So once again, I didn't make it out of any of my pools, but I didn't feel like I did too shabby. And overall, I would say I'm happy with my results. Alright guys, now that we're through all the matches, thank you so much for sticking around for all that. We're going to cover our little wagers. So these were just kind of for fun. They were little questions that I asked the stream chat, and they had their own opinions about, and then people chimed in the YouTube comments with their own opinions. So let's cover them. First of all, I asked, will there be more GT Gokus or more Bardocks in Dragon Ball FighterZ Top 8? And the consensus in the chat was GT Goku. My personal opinion was Bardock, but it turns out we were both wrong. It was actually a tie. I could not believe this. Bardock and Kid Goku, there were 3 of them each in Top 8. There were also 3 Kid Boos, and 3 Adult Gohans, and 3 Yamchas. I guess 3 was the magic number. Some people predicted that Super Saiyan Goku would be the most popular character in Top 8, but he only had 2. Team Gohan also had 2, and then finally Vegeta, Tien, Cell, Android 18, and Android 17 had 1 each. Wow, seeing Android 17 in Top 8 was wild, but it was pretty sick. So I guess we were all wrong there, and I think most of us, I would like to think most of us can be pretty happy with the character variety in Top 8. Obviously, Bardock and Kid Goku and Adult Gohan and Yamcha, these characters are insanely powerful, but we are seeing some team variety in the finals of tournaments, so that's pretty cool. Next up, speaking of character variety, I asked, will there be more than 4 Genjiros in SamSho Top 8? So will over 50% of the Top 8 be comprised of Genjiro? Chat said yes. I said probably not. It turns out there were exactly 4. So I guess technically chat is wrong, but I kind of want to count that as a win for both of us. I was right that technically there would be less than or equal to 4, but chat was very close by saying that there would be greater than 4. So I'm going to call that a wash. I think we were both kind of on the right track there. How many EVO championships will be won by American players? So the consensus in the chat was somewhere between 2 and 3. I went out on a limb and I said 4. It ends up there were 2, so way to go chat on that one. Sonic Fox won Mortal Kombat, and then Shinku won BlazBlue Tag Battle. But even though that I was way off, you know, 4 versus 2, do keep in mind that Soul Calibur 6, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Smash Ultimate all had Americans who got 2nd place. So America was well within reach of getting 5 Grand Championship finishes. So I don't think I was too far off with 4, but in the end, chat got it on that one. Next question, will there be a brand spanking new game announcement? So not DLC, not new characters, a brand new game. And the chat mostly said no, and I said probably yes, although that might have just been wishful thinking. But we got it. So depending on your definition, King of Fighters 15 was announced kind of. They didn't show anything. They basically just said, hey, we're working on KOF 15. Under Night in Birth has a new version coming. Under Night in Birth EXE Late CLR. They need to optimize these names a little bit, and I don't know how this one's going to be shortened. The last one was shortened to Unist. Is this one going to be Unicler? I don't know, but I could see maybe you not considering that a brand new game, considering it's just like a new version with some balance changes and a couple new characters. But we did get a new Guilty Gear announcement. My prediction came true. Brand new Guilty Gear game. New graphics that look incredible. It looks like they're going to be redoing a lot of the characters from the ground up. Looks so awesome from the short trailer that we saw. So in the end, I think we definitely got at least one brand new announcement, depending on what your definition of a new game is. So I think the chat did miss on that one. And then will there be a non-Janemba DB FighterZ announcement? So anything announced for Dragon Ball FighterZ that isn't just Janemba, the character we already knew was coming. The chat and I both agreed that no, that probably isn't going to happen. Although we were very, very slightly wrong. They showed like 5 seconds of Gogeta at the end of the Janemba trailer, and that almost counts. I think that kind of sort of counts as showing us something other than Janemba. Even though Gogeta is another character that we knew was coming, he had been confirmed, you know, at least we got to see a little bit of gameplay, so that was cool, and I think that kind of left a good taste in people's mouths for the end of Dragon Ball FighterZ at EVO. And then finally, will I make it out of at least one pool? The chat and I both said yes on this one, and I guess we were both wrong, man. I was so close. I was so close in both FighterZ and in SamSho. I mean, you guys saw, I was one hit away in SamSho from getting out, but it didn't quite work out. Didn't make it out of my pools, but you know, I'm more inspired than ever to keep up the grind, to do even better next year, and to continue having fun streaming and making videos for you guys. So if you made it all the way to the end of this video, you're a real trooper. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you want to see the full unedited archives of all my matches from EVO, the link is down here in the description. Check that out. And that's going to be it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you in the next one.